وبركاته. As Sheikh Muhammad, we're going to go with in English one. As Sheikh Muhammad mentioned, so this is the start of, I would say, discussion circles, not lectures about the situation in Gaza and Palestine. And our first guest, inshallah, is Dr. Khalid Zaid. He's the New Jersey chapter, AMP New Jersey chapter education coordinator. And this title is very important for الحقيقة يا إخواننا. Education coordinator, that's what we need these days. Sound, please. Said that Dr. Khalid is the AMP New Jersey chapter education coordinator. And education is extremely important at this time, and I'm sure that he will be alluding to that. Educating who is surrounding us of this issue, of this matter, of this struggle would be extremely important. Dr. Khalid will be talking for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll open it up for comments, questions, discussions. Tamam? So we'll try to limit it. It's maybe till 8:30, inshallah. So we will be given comments and remarks for 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll open up for questions, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. On behalf of American Muslims for Palestine in Georgia chapter, I'd like to thank everyone here and thank NHIEC, Jazakumullah khairan, for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming to this event tonight. So my name is Khalid Zaid. I'm the education coordinator for AMP New Jersey. As you know, we have an AMP that is a national group, but we have multiple chapters around the country. American Muslims for Palestine works to educate, organize, and mobilize the Muslim American community, as well as allies in other communities to advance Palestinian rights. So my goal as helping out with AMP, I've been with AMP for a few years. Alhamdulillah, I've been active in regards to the issue of Palestine for over 20 years. Before I moved to the East Coast, I served in multiple roles. I was the president of Palestine Solidarity Committee in college, and I was working with different groups, Jewish Voice for Peace and others, to educate the communities around us about what's happening in Palestine. So when I came into New Jersey, I started to volunteer with AMP, and I'm now, my profession is I work in IT, but I also like to kind of volunteer my time. I'm also a board member of MCMC, the Muslim Community Center of Middlesex County, where I live in Central New Jersey. I've been there for about 8-9 years now. And alhamdulillah, I try to do my best is to go around New Jersey and speak about Palestine. I go to South Jersey, come to North Jersey, Central Jersey. And we have a great number of Muslim brothers and sisters who work for AMP New Jersey. We are always doing events, and we are planning a banquet in next month, inshallah, here in New Jersey. So we'd like to see you there, inshallah. And then also there's AMP National organizing a Palestine convention in Chicago this coming month around Thanksgiving holiday. It's about 3-day. Actually, the convention is going to be Thursday evening, Friday all day, and then Saturday all day. So the day of Thanksgiving, and then 2 days after that. So I usually go like every year, and alhamdulillah, it's a great event to attend. If you'd like to know more about it, just go to ampalestine.org or Palestine Convention 2023, I think, or palestineconvention.org. So so these are, and then also we do things like Advocacy Day every year. We travel to Washington D.C. We advocate. We go a few hundred of us go from different states. We travel to Washington D.C. We take a 1-day training about how to advocate and for Palestine in Congress. And the next day we go as groups into the congressional building, and we talk to our elected representatives about what's happening in Palestine, and we advocate for the human rights of our brothers and sisters in Palestine. So just keep this in mind, and we'd like to see you in the next event, inshallah. So my title of this event is Activism 101, and I'm going to just I'm here in the masjid, so I'm sure that the majority of us, if not all of us, know what's happening exactly in Palestine. We're not being, hopefully, we are not being, especially our young people, they're not being influenced by the biased media in the U.S. About what's happening. So we'd like to clarify some of the things, just to give some information. And if you know this, that's good. It's just a reminder for all of us people about it. But also, I want to talk about what can you do, activism, what can you do, and how you should do it. So, you know, if you just come in and you don't know anything about what's happening in Palestine or the Holy Land, or you would hear always October 7 as if nothing happened before that. We all know that Palestine or Palestine has been under, and Gaza specifically has been under siege, air, land, and sea blockade for 16 to 17 years now, since 2006. So this is not new to us. We all know this. We all know that our people in Palestine are being oppressed, brutalized. They've been killed, and their lands been stolen taken away. So we have about 5,000 to 6,000 Palestinian brothers and sisters and children are in Israeli prison. So all this information when I go to like a church, where I was yesterday and 2 weeks ago, where I go to the Interfaith Council, I talked to reverends, and I had the rabbi there, and I talked board meeting, and then they wanted to discuss what's happening. And the first statement that came out, the first thing that they discussed is that how can we make a statement? And I looked at them, was like, wait a minute, I'm not invited here to participate in this. This is not what, I had to kind of like cut him down and say, this is not really what's happening. Before you talk about that, you have to talk about the 6,000 Palestinians that are all held hostages in Israeli prisons. So I kind of like pretty much, and a lot of the church leaders in a meeting, they heard something that they don't hear often from people. So a couple of them took me aside after the meeting and says, you know what, you made some good points, and you said things that we didn't know about, and we're really happy that you sorry. So a lot of people, we assume that because Palestine, we watch Al Jazeera or watch pro-Palestine media, we think that everybody know what we know, but the reality is a lot of people don't know what is happening in Palestine, and it's unfortunate that we are struggling against a media that is pro-Israel, U.S. media, corporate media. We also have a politician majority of it, on the side of Israel. So we are working so hard to try to change the narrative, and we have to continue doing that. And coming of Gaza every couple of years. 2021 was the last one. We get really active, and we rise up, and we get upset. We go to protest, and we do all kind of things. But then after things calm down a little bit, so and my advice to everyone is that even though, inshallah, this struggle ends soon and Palestine will be liberated, but if these things come, then we should not be stopping. We should not stop talking about what's happening in Palestine. We should not stop advocating. We should not stop, teaching people about what's happening. Use social media. Use your, talk to your friends and things like that. So we know that so far in Gaza, there's over 10,000 people have been, and half of them are like children. So there are a lot of things that we can teach people about what's happening in Palestine. Again, as I mentioned, there's an occupation for, there has been tension or siege in Gaza for 16, 17 years. And the reality is a lot of people here in the country are unaware that these, for example, before October 7, before this current fighting started, we had about 500 Palestinians were killed this year alone in the West Bank by Israel on a daily basis by the Israeli army, by the settlers, and the media hardly mention anything haven't happened. Everybody's talking about it, but inshallah, we have to continue doing our work to educate the public about what's happening. And I think, in my opinion, I think a lot of people now becoming aware. If you follow social media, Instagram, TikTok, so much discussion of Palestine, and a lot of people have been talking about this, especially non-Muslims. And inshallah, there is hope in that we will turn the tide and we will Palestine or stand for the liberation of Palestine. So some of the things that I have a PowerPoint, but I'm not able to show my slides, but I'm going to just go over things that talk about activism 101 to educate yourself. I mean, first of all, we need to continue making for our brothers and sisters in Gaza and Palestine every day in the masajids and when you do your own prayer. But that's important. We need to know facts and fiction. We need to do the research, follow sites that talk about the issue closely, like AMP and other sites, but try to figure out like what is the fact and what is the fiction. Like try to understand the occupation, educate yourself, and then once you are educated, family, your kids, don't stop talking about this to your kids. Make sure they understand because they are being influenced by everything around them. Make sure. So education is very important. Attend events like this one. Encourage people to come into these events, and not just Muslims. We need to educate the non-Muslims as well. Like when I go to places and I speak the non, like churches, I go to college to speak. Give out some facts and I give us take, and I every time people learn something new about what's happening in Palestine. So education is very important. And the other thing you should do is to advocacy for Palestine. Advocacy meaning you advocate for justice for Palestine. How can you do that? You can do it in many different ways. You can use social media. You know, you educate. So what you can do is you educate people, but also go to social media and the representative is whatever you live in, and write on their website, on their page, on a social media page, and use your phone as a way of a tool of advocating for justice. I try to do this. Follow, for example, call my congressperson and tell people some points to call in a phone number, and it takes about 2 or 3 minutes for you to just leave a message. It's very effective because one of the Rashida Tlaib, the congresswoman, she recently, and she said that her colleagues that support Palestine, or some of them, do not hear much from us Muslims about what's happening in Palestine. They don't get enough calls. Sending a message, go to the website and sign petitions. It's very important for us to do this, not just once or twice. Keep doing it regularly. Every petition you come across, every forward it to somebody, try to take action yourself. You know, sign your name, send a letter, make a phone call, and copy that number and send it out to your friend and ask them to do the same thing. So it's very important for us to advocate for Palestine. And one thing that we do, like I said, every year we go to Washington, encourage to have you subscribe to AMP on social media. Once we have the plan for next year, the advocacy day, you should be able to see that information and attend our events. We need more people to come to DC. We need more people to call the elected representatives and educate people as well. So another thing that I was encouraging BDS. BDS stands for Boycott, Divestment, Sanction. Boycott could be very effective. It was effective and helped a lot in South Africa, boycotting the apartheid regime in South Africa, and it worked, and it could work for us as well. So we have very good websites called bdsmovement.net. You can check regularly and tell people about it. But we all consume things on a daily basis, right? We buy food, we buy drinks. In Ramadan, we buy dates because we break our fast on date, and we use technology, we do all kinds of things. And there are a lot of things that a lot of companies actually support Israel. We need to educate ourselves on what those companies are and what those products are. So before you go to a store and you grab a Coke, make sure that that's a company that supported Israel in current fighting, or you go to Burger King, those places you should make sure. So you know what? I'm not going to use money to help these companies. Walmart, for example, unfortunately announced the other day they're giving $1 million. Find out something like this, try to sacrifice, try not to go to these places, or if you have to, try to just buy the minimum things that you can buy, but try not to participate. IT manager, and I sometimes purchase equipment, and the companies that support Israel is HP, Hewlett Packard, and so I took it upon myself as an individual not to buy any computers or printers or anything like that. So I educate myself on what company's decision possible to not buy those products and not participate, and try to find an alternative, right? Sometimes you have no alternative, but like, for example, Intel is a company that makes microchips, right? That's into a computer. They might have having an Intel chip, right? So so in that case, you have no choice, but try to make a wise decision. We have to, for example, we buy so much date, and then it does a campaign every year. Every year before Ramadan, we do this campaign, boycott date campaign, and we make big flyers and the dates that the brands that are made in the Israeli brand, and we put them there, and we go around towards the halal stores, the supermarkets, and we look to see. Like, I personally went to a few stores. And I found some Israeli dates being sold at those halal stores, and I talked to the owner. The owner was actually a very nice brother. He didn't even know that the dates that he was selling are Israeli dates. And when I pointed out to him, he called the distributor in front of those dates. He doesn't want to sell them anymore. So this is something that we should do it every year. It's not just one time, because people sometimes tend to forget about those brands. Like, there are certain brands you can look. So we'll be doing that next year, inshallah, before Ramadan. And if you see a flyer being handed around the masjid, take sure that don't buy these dates. And then if you go to a store, you also make sure they don't sell those brands as well. These things that you can do. So again, BDS, as I mentioned, is a boycott, divestment, sanctions. It's actually a Palestinian movement. BDS holds the simple principle: Palestinians are entitled to the same rights as the rest of humanity. And coming from their website, bdsmovement.net. We're not AMP is not this is not AMP site. It's a separate organization, but I try to promote this. So again, so the next question is, why BDS? As I mentioned before, why participate in this in boycott? It's a peaceful way of protecting Israeli apartheid the Palestinian people. BDS way of applying pressure against Israel. And from their website, for instance, why you should participate in BDS. One is number one reason is Palestinians called for BDS. This is a Palestinian movement. It was founded by a Palestinian, I believe, in 2005 or 2004, if I'm not mistaken. The BDS demands are basically ending the Palestinian occupation and dismantling of the wall, the illegal wall they built, full equality for Palestinian citizens, and rights of return for Palestinian refugees. BDS solidarity movement is the priority. It works. There have been that actually found out, for example, the dates, the Israeli dates industry lost millions of dollars as a result of our participation in this BDS movement. And a proactive step. It's not a reactive, and it brings people together from diverse groups. So we should do our best to help in that regard as use a BDS. So boycott, withdrawing support from Israel's apartheid regime, supporting cultural and academic institutions, and from Israel and international companies. So the investment is basically the campaigns urge banks, local councils, church pension funds, and universities to withdraw investments from the state of Israel and all the Israeli and international sanctions. Is campaigns pressure a government to fulfill their legal obligations in Israeli apartheid. The organizations that support BDS or boycott are Jewish Voice, Jewish for Palestinian Rights of Return, Jewish Voice for Peace, U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, U.S. Campaign for Academic and Cultural Boycott, Israel, and for Palestine, and many other. So, how much time we have? Should I continue or should I give time for questions and answers? Yeah. Okay. So, just to summarize what we talked about, there's been a genocide going on in Gaza for the past 34 days, and there's been siege of Gaza for the past all since 1948. So we need to educate ourselves about what's happening in our place. So the Al-Aqsa is very important. I get a chance to talk about Al-Aqsa. That's why this current operation is called the regime has been passing, and Muslims are not allowing them to go into Al-Aqsa. And in many cases, they go in their shoes and they arrest Palestinians in Masjid Al-Aqsa. So we need to be educated about this. We need to advocate for human rights for our brothers and sisters. Do like boycott, sanctions, and the investment. So we're going to leave the next few minutes for you, inshallah, to ask questions or make comments. I've had a question. Yes, brother.
Also, you have to mention the side. There's also our brothers, the Christian, the churches too.
Yes.
So you just don't want the lots. So you even your support.
Yes, that's a good point. Even I didn't get a chance about that, but even in Gaza, only over 30 to 40 masjids have been destroyed already in Gaza, completely destroyed. Also, churches have been attacked. So if you someone who's a Christian, let's mention the fact that not only mosque, Islamic center attacked, a church was hit, and a hospital that was attacked was a Christian hospital. So, and you have to bring that information to non-Muslims as well. It's not just Muslims that have been oppressed. In Palestine, it's also Christians as well, Christian Arabs, Christian Palestinians. They've been oppressed. So that information is very important to bring up to non-Muslims when you talk to them about what's happening in Palestine. It's a good point. Any question or comment? So, yes, brother.
Organize like
Yes.
all over the country. They do everybody's number and call when like there's a protest. For example.
Yes.
Other organizations in the area.
Yes, AMP participated in a DC, the large protest, the national rally for Palestine. AMP was one of the organizers. AMP and national. We do a lot. We work with different local groups here. We work with Jewish Voice for Peace. So I go to New York sometimes. They invite me to attend a discussion panel and talk with Al-Auda. Al-Auda is the Arabic word for the right of return. That's what Al-Auda means, return. So we work with local groups. I work sometimes with the Central Jewish Voice for Peace. I gave them a presentation from our own perspective. So we work with, so that's why it's important for everyone to follow social media, AMP social media. And we announce our events. We've been doing, we went to, AMP organized a shutdown of Cory Booker's in Newark yesterday, and protest outside his office. We organized an event in Central Jersey, in what's the towns by South Brunswick, where Cory Booker, the senator of New Jersey, came to speak. He's basically a Zionist, and you know that. But we shut down his event. Came to do a rally before the elections, a Democratic rally, and we took over the event, and we shut down his event. We did not even do stuff like that. We do, like I said, we advocate. We are active. We do protest with congressional leaders, and we write. We use social media, and we test. Yes. So please follow us on social media so you can find out our event. We announce it, like today's event was announced on our social media as well. So yeah. Yes, brother.
Did you communicate with any organization or with or anywhere?
You mean like
Did you have any kind of communication with the West Bank? Any kind of
communicate with organizations and like you talk about human rights or talk about humanitarian aid organizations, something like that?
something like that?
Yeah, we try to focus our work here as in the United States, for legal reasons and things like that. People ask us, how can I donate? For example, AMP doesn't take donation for humanitarian aid for Palestine, but we take donation. For example, they have a website for being like we have a full-time staff in Washington D.C. Myself, I'm a volunteer. We have the New Jersey chapter are made of volunteers that has to be paid, and they do a lot of work in DC. So they take for that type of work, but we don't take donations, for example, for humanitarian aid. People ask me all the time, how can I donate to Gaza, for example, right? Organizations in this country that collect for Central Jersey, MCMC, we invited Islamic Relief USA, have office in the West Bank. I'm sorry, they work with UNRWA, the United Nations Refugee Agency in Gaza. So they work with them, they cooperate with them, they partner with them. So they collect funds, and then they send aid. So right now aid goes into Gaza, but once they open, inshallah, they are collecting so they can send aid into Gaza. An organization that I know I'm aware of is called USA.org. It's not associated with AMP, but they do also funds. They have offices in the bank, and they collect funds as well. So they have PCRF, Palestine Children Relief organizations. They are a humanitarian organization. They collect money to help people there. But AMP, we don't do that type of work. We don't collect funds for humanitarian aid. We focus our work in the United States to educate the public and to advocate for Palestinian rights and things like that. So there's another website I'd like to have everybody put it on your phone. AJP, the two sites. One is ampalestine.org. Put that on your favorites, on your bookmark. And then the other site is called AJP, Americans for Justice for Palestine. So it's ajpaction.org. That's a sister organization of AMP. And the AJP is a lobby organization. It's a 501c nonprofit. It's to lobby like the way the Israelis lobby the Congress. We also and pro-Palestine lobby that you can also donate to. You can donate to Palestine, and you can donate to AJP as education, advocacy, and things like that. But if you like to donate to Palestine, check out the other organizations that I mentioned, like Islamic Relief and LifeState.org. Any?
Demonstrations or organized demonstrations?
We do it all the time.
You do it in front of these media, and you're NBC and ABC, these four.
Yes, we have.
These images, like they did a couple of days ago on the front of the Time magazine.
AMP was, we push those. We sometimes that they're happening all over the country and all over the state. I personally attend, I can't keep up with you. I go to protest even Princeton, which is out from me 40 minutes. I go to the areas where I live, but I come to attend protests here or in New York City. So there are protests happening all over. To those pages, social media that announce those events, because like when I have a group called Justice for Palestine, it's not social media, but I run a group for a long time, and every time I found out there's an event like a protest, I push it, I put it there. If there is a like anything like shut down the senator's office, I post it there and things like that. So there are events happening all over the country. AMP Chicago yesterday participated in trying to shut down Biden's speech in Chicago. He was talking. He was invited to speak in Chicago, and AMP went in and interrupted his speech. So we do that all over the place. It's happening all the time. So yeah. And take one final or two. Jazakallah khairan. But please, we need your support. Even just go to our social media, and if you see something that you like, not just like it, but share it, copy and paste it, and give it to put it on your social media, and invite people to follow our pages as well. Yeah. So that's what we need, inshallah. Yes, brother.
The problem here has to United States is from the media, like Fox News,
Yes.
CNN, all of that, and they give really poison news for the American people. And I have colleagues, I talk with them every day. They told me those news, and none of them right. So how we can change it and do something?
We can use alternative media like social media. That's one thing that a lot of people, even CNN and Fox, it's nothing much we can do except just put pressure on them, maybe protest, call their offices. But we have to also use our alternative media, like the social media is very effective, because a lot of young people now, a lot of people get the news from social media. I personally believe that those CNN and Fox, they will become irrelevant in the future, if they're not becoming irrelevant right now, because not too many people watch them anyway. But the younger people, they follow social media. So we need to be very active there and use social media to our advantage and be smart about it, because sometimes even social media try to put pressure on us, and they close our accounts, and then they restrict us from doing these things. But just try to be smart about what you say and how you say it, and not to get in trouble on social media. But a lot of people read the news on social media, so I even sometimes I sometimes tell myself, you know what, I have a few minutes now, I have half an hour. I try to go to the pro-Israel sites on social media, and I write there and I post stuff there, and I challenge them there. So try to do that, educate the masses, and even if you see something on social media like CNN article, and you are allowed to comment, and then tell the other side. Let people read your comment. So that's one thing we have to do right now, and teach people, and go to places to speak about this, right? Invite someone to come and speak. If you, let's say, go to college and you are a member of the, let's say, MSA or SJP, Students for Justice for Palestine, invite a speaker to come in and talk about this issue, and advertise it in college, and let people come and hear what you have to say. So yeah, take one final, or that's good.
Thank you very much.
One comment about that one. Even CNN, I'm not sure if I'm sure that you are following the CNN or CBS. Fox is a different story, of course. Okay, but for CBS, NBC, and CNN, they started shifting or balancing a little bit. Last night, for example, they invited our brother Sami Shaban, who was Ghazan, from Gaza, and his family, about 15 members of his family got killed. He was invited in the one of the nighttime shows. Calling, putting pressure, I think it is important. And especially now, after a month of the killing, of the carpet bombing, okay, people, they will not shift 100%. But putting that pressure, I think it's important. And what Brother Khalid mentioned, which is extremely important, do not underestimate that personal connection. Educating one-to-one, that's what we have, in addition to the social media. I was at a khutbah today at ICPC Clifton. Sheikh Osama focused on one thing. We all feel helpless. We all feel like there is nothing that we can do. But ask yourself, what can you do for our people in Gaza? In addition to dua, in addition to one-to-one, as Brother Khalid mentioned, 6,000 prisoners. We take it as granted. Not everybody knows about them. Even our colleagues at work.
About 9 now.
That's for sure. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Right. In West Bank, not only, yes. Barakallahu feek. Absolutely. Yeah. So we know that. Yeah. Yeah. So we know that. People do not know that. So even that small piece of information is important. Don't underestimate what we can proceed. What I was looking for when my phone actually spoke, for the Rashida Tlaib, when she got censored, Congressman Jamal Brown of Georgia, he did give a very strong speech defending her. We were supposed to call and thank him at least. That was his number was circulating around. Okay, I called myself, and the guy actually, I got someone who was answering, and he was saying we need more calls like these. We don't call much. So calling, and they don't even ask for your name. What's your zip code? So even if you are afraid to give your name, they don't ask for your name. What's your zip code? So all of these kind of things, little things that we can do, don't underestimate them. So let's ask ourselves, in addition to dua, what can we do? Those little things. Barakallahu feekum.
Just I know you,
Tafadhal.
to respond to you, you said you're not getting that information. So before everybody leaves, I will give you the QR code. If you open up your phone, please, 2 WhatsApp groups you can follow as AMP NJ official, and so you can get all the information. And then Justice for Palestine, and then also look up on Instagram if you have one, or Facebook. Look up AMP as well and follow them so you can get that information. But one last thing. Brother mentioned is also the calls are very important. So please make it a habit of you calling, either to thank someone who did something good, or to oppose if somebody did something like a vote for Israel, or against ceasefire or something like that. Right now we are asking people to call their representatives and demand a ceasefire. That's one thing that is we've been asking for weeks. So right now I would like to have everybody, before you leave here, just Google, like, I can help you. Like, if you don't know who your elected congressperson here, just Google their name, like, who is my elected representative, and then put the zip code, and then it should tell you who the person is, and call that number and leave a message tonight. You don't have to wait until Monday. Just if you can, leave a message and say, you demand a ceasefire in Gaza. And so that's one thing. So please keep that in mind, is to always demand a ceasefire. And then the 2 people that you also need to call are the 2 senators. We all know who they are: Cory Booker and Menendez. Menendez are the 2 senators for New Jersey, and plus your congressperson in your area. So please do these things, and then follow us, and just take actions. Don't just delay until Monday. Take a daily action. At least one thing you should be able to do once a day. So yes, go ahead. Well, last question.
One more thing. Also in the West Bank, I don't know if you noticed this or you hear about it. Right now is the olive tree harvest now. Settlers wait till 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon till the people harvest the olives, and they come with the soldiers, take the olives. And last week in area of Naples, 400 trees with a backhoe. They cut all the 400 trees. So these informations, they have to be put on your website.
No, we share that information regularly, and we talk about it in social media. So yeah. One last, yes, sir.
I don't know if this is more political than activism, but Do you guys try to put any pressure on the Egyptian government, the UN, or just put more pressure on them for the Rafah opening? Hey,
Yeah.
or you just focus on US?
For New Jersey, I would say we don't try to do that. We're not doing that, but I'm not sure if the national AMP national is doing that. Maybe they are. They are writing to the embassy. But we protested against the Egyptian consulate in New York. I think, if not maybe last week or the week before, there was a protest there to open the border. But I'm not 100% sure if the national organization for AMP is doing that. It's like putting pressure or contacting the embassy. Maybe it's something they are doing. But in New Jersey, we focus on New Jersey. But yeah, I don't know. I cannot tell for sure if that's something we are doing or not.
Thank you very much.
جزاكم الله خير.
إيه، جزاكم الله خير ما شاء الله. بارك الله فيك أخي خالد. إن شاء الله جزاكم الله خير. كما الله. السلام عليكم.
You can put all the information downstairs and they make copies.